am attorney Marie-Chris Bathan-Lasco. This is my virtual classroom. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this channel, I shall aim to simplify the law. I will discuss concepts and principles of law in under 10 minutes. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to our virtual classroom. So for this video, I want us to talk about corporate names. How do we create a corporate name? What rules must we remember when we choose a name for our corporation? So let's begin. Our guide to choosing a name for our corporation is Section 17 of your corporation code. Your Section 17 has actually been revised or amended. This was supposedly Section 18 of the old corporation code, and now it's Section 17, and it has actually it has been restated. The principle behind Section 18 before and Section 17 now are more or less the same. But let's look into Section 17. Let's read the first paragraph of Section 17 of the Revised Corporation Code. It says, "No corporate name shall be allowed by the Commission if it is not distinguishable from that already reserved or registered for the use of another corporation, or if such name is protected by law, or when its use is contrary to existing law, rules, and regulations." So what does that tell you? It tells you that when you choose a name, you must be sure that it is distinguishable from any other corporation who has already used that name or has reserved that name. Remember that the corporate name is very important. Why is it important? It is important because the corporate name identifies the corporation. It gives it its identity. In the same manner that your name identifies you. The corporate name, therefore, is what will be used by the corporation when they transact business. That is also the name that they can sue and be sued. The corporate name, therefore, is one of the corporation's attributes. It is essential to its existence. It is essential to the identity of the corporation. That is the reason why the first paragraph of Section 17 requires that when you make a name, you must make sure that it is distinguishable from other corporations. Your corporate name must set you apart from other corporations so that you can be easily identified. If in the Articles of Incorporation, you will put there a name that is similar or confusingly similar with another corporation's existing name, then the Securities and Exchange Commission can actually ask you to change your corporate name. Let me give you a simple example. So you have McDonald's. If, for example, you will make a corporation and you name it still McDonald's, but you change the spelling to MacDonald', you cannot now say that yours is distinguishable because of the spelling. Because then it might lead other people to believe that your corporation is the same as that of the original McDonald's. So your guide in making a corporate name, therefore, is you have to make sure that it is distinguishable from other corporations' names. Now, there is one case that I'd like to share to you on the use of corporate names. It is the case of Philips Export versus Standard Philips Corporation. So in this case, you now have here Standard Philips Corporation who tried to use the word Philips and included it in its corporate name. That's why they call themselves Standard Philips Corporation. Now, your Philips Export, among other sister companies of Philips Export, Philips Electrical Lamps Inc., and you also have the Philips Industrial Development Inc. So these three corporations, Philips Export, Philips Industrial Development Inc. and Philips Electrical Lamps Inc. are now asking the court to stop Standard Philips Corporation from using the term Philips in the corporate name. The argument of Philips Export and the two other sister companies, they are now saying that the use of Standard Philips Corporation of the term Philips would mislead the public into believing that Standard Philips Corporation is part of their business, considering that they have similar business types, or they're engaged in the same line of business. On the other hand, Standard Philips Corporation is now saying that the corporate name is not confusingly similar with that of Philips Export or Philips Industrial Development Inc. or Philips Electrical Lamps Inc. It argues that the name Standard Philips Corporation, while it is using the term Philips, it argues that there are two other words that are not the same as that of the complainants. That it is using the word standard and corporation. And according to them, that identifies their corporation, and that it does not, that it is not confusingly similar with that of the complainants. Now, Philips Export, your Philips Industrial Development Inc. and Philips Electrical Lamps Inc. counter-argued. They're saying now that it was very clear that the respondent Standard Philips Corporation was trying to ride on the popularity of Philips and riding on the goodwill that Philips, the name Philips, has acquired after several years. So what did the Supreme Court have to say about this? The Supreme Court said that Standard Philips Corporation should stop using the term Philips, that the term Philips, in fact, has already been trademarked by those three petitioners: Philips Export, Philips Development Industrial Inc., and your Philips Electrical Lamps Inc., and that they had the exclusive right to use it. Now, what does that tell us then? We go back to the rule that when you designate a corporate name for your corporation, you must make sure that it is distinguishable, that it is not confusingly similar with that of another corporation. This is to protect the right of those corporations already using it, and at the same time, it will protect the public so that they will not be misled as to whose corporation this is. Is this corporation the same as that of another corporation? This leads us to what we call the test of infringement. What is the test of infringement? In other words, what do we look into to determine whether one corporation has already violated the right of another corporation with respect to the name or the trademark of the corporation? The test is whether the similarity between the corporate name that you have chosen and another corporation's existing name would lead another person to believe that you are one and the same. Differently stated, the test is whether the similarity will mislead a person who is using ordinary care and determination into believing that your corporation is the same as that of another corporation, or at least related with or has connections with that other corporation. Now let's look into the next paragraph of section 17. It says, a name is not distinguishable even if it contains one or more of the following: A, the word corporation, company, limited, limited liability, or an abbreviation of one such words, and punctuations, articles, conjunctions, contractions, prepositions, abbreviations, different tenses, spacing, or number of the same word or phrase. In fact, very important that you recall the earlier case that I have discussed. There may have been two more different words in the subsequent corporation, the Standard Philips Corporation, but still the Supreme Court said it is not distinguishable. It could still mislead other people to believe that Standard Philips Corporation might be selling the same products as that of the three petitioners' products. It could still mislead the public into believing that they may be one and the same, that they have the same products that they are selling. So it's very important that you take very careful consideration in designating a name for your corporation, that it should not be misleading the public, that you must be identified as a corporation that is not the same as that of any other corporation who may have the same business as you do. Because again, we said that your corporate name is very important to identify you as a corporation. So what happens if you do designate a corporate name that is not distinguishable from another existing corporation? What will the Securities and Exchange Commission do? Section 17 of your revised corporation code will also answer that question. Let's look into and read that particular paragraph. It says, the commission, upon determination that the corporate name is 1. Not distinguishable from a name already reserved or registered for the use of another corporation. 2. Already protected by law. 3. Contrary to law, rules, and regulations, may summarily order the corporation to immediately cease and desist from using such name and require the corporation to register a new one. The Commission shall also cause the removal of all visible signages, marks, advertisements, labels, print, and other effects bearing such corporate name. Upon the approval of the new corporate name, the Commission shall issue certificate of incorporation under the amended name. So, your Securities and Exchange Commission will ask you to stop using that corporate name and will ask you to change it. And once you have changed it, then your Securities and Exchange Commission, of course, granting that you have complied with all the other requirements, then it can issue you your certificate of incorporation, however, based now on your amended name. So the good thing about it is, for example, you unknowingly designate a corporate name that is similar with an existing corporate name, at least you are given a chance to correct it. You're given a chance to designate another corporate name. It is not outrightly disapproved, or rather, your Securities and Exchange Commission will not outrightly disapprove your application for registration. Now, what if there is a corporation who has designated a corporate name that is similar to another existing corporation's name, but inadvertently the Securities and Exchange Commission failed to look into it and inadvertently gave out a certificate of incorporation, and now we have two corporations having the same corporate name or having a confusingly similar name. What is the remedy of the corporation who had adopted such corporate name prior to this new corporation? The remedy of such corporation is to file an action for injunction for the new corporation to stop using the name. This is the same remedy as when there is trademark infringement. As, of course, through the courts, for this new corporation adopting a similar name with that of an earlier corporation to stop using that corporate name. And of course, there is another remedy that where your Securities and Exchange Commission will deregister the corporation now adopting a similar or a non-distinguishable name from the older corporation. Now, can you still change your corporate name? Granting it is actually distinguishable from all the other corporations' names. You just want to change the corporate name. Can you still do so? The answer is yes, by amending the Articles of Incorporation. How do we amend the Articles of Incorporation? I have already discussed that in another video, and I will put down the link below. So that's it. That is our short and very simple discussion on how we choose our corporate name. What limitations do we have to look into when we designate a corporate name for our corporation? So that's it for this video. I will see you in the next. So if you find this video helpful, please click like, subscribe, and that notification bell so that you will be notified of new video uploads. Thank you for watching. See you next time in MBL Classroom.